Alrighty, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, here back with another reaction video. Today, we're finna react to the NBA in 2002. Oh, man. So, let's see here. We had Allen Iverson, who was still the reigning defending MVP until Tim Duncan came and got that one. The Lakers three-peated. Michael Jordan came back in the controversial Lakers and Sacramento Kings series. Rigged. When you want to talk about rigged, you ain't seen. Now, Cooper Flag going to the Mavs is rigged as fucked. But that Lakers King series, rigged. But anyways, though, without further ado, man, let's get right into it. Oh, two. What it do?
Let's take it back to the unforgettable year that was 2002. Justin Timberlake officially went solo.
Fuck
Tobey
Justin Timberlake.
Maguire's Spider-Man swung
All
into
right,
theaters.
that was goated.
And Kelly Clarkson won the first ever American Idol. On the hardwood, the Los Angeles Lakers only had one thing on their mind: three-peat. This accomplishment was reserved for only the truly great teams in the NBA. The 1960s Celtics, the 1990s Bulls, and now quite possibly the 2000 Lakers. Will these Lakers be able to pull it off, or will another team emerge to define the decade? Buckle up as we take a deep dive into the NBA in the year 2002, a year in review. Three-peat is all anyone could talk about. Well, kind of. Although the question of three-peat was an intriguing one, that's not what everyone was talking about as the season was set to begin. The entire league, and frankly the entire country, was anticipating the return of the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. It had been rumored for months, and he finally confirmed his return to the NBA with the Washington Wizards. Jordan, who hadn't played since 1998, was about to make a comeback, and all eyes were on the lowly Wizards, who had been the laughingstock of the league up until this point. Jordan showed flashes of his greatness, averaging 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. This also included a 51-point performance against the Hornets, which at the time seemed like an impossible feat for a 38-year-old. He also lifted the Wizards into playoff contention. However, as most expected, he was not himself, and his 38-year-old body was breaking down after every game he played. Although the old heads were really hoping that Jordan would retake his position as the NBA's best, Jordan was just simply well past his prime. That crown was still up for grabs, and every single night, it seemed like a new superstar was making his case. First, you had Tim Duncan, who was becoming a true model of consistency. Night in and night out, he was punishing opposing bigs down low with a barrage of post moves, mid-range jumpers, and on the other end of the floor, his length was swatting every shot that came his way. He was earning his nickname as the Big Fundamental this year. Nothing he did on the basketball court was flashy, but he was just as dominant on both ends of the floor. He would go on to win league MVP honors this year, but as great as Duncan was this year, you could have made the case for so many others. Namely Jason Kidd. Many thought the 8th-year point guard, who had probably been the league's best point guard for 2 to 3 years up until now, deserved the award. During this season, Kidd, who had been traded to the New Jersey Nets this past offseason, transformed this once dormant franchise into one of the best teams in the league, and Jason Kidd deserved all the credit. His playmaking, defense, and all-around presence unlocked the single greatest season turnaround in American sports history.
I hope he talk about Paul Pierce here, because Paul Pierce definitely needs a mention here. This was the year where Paul Pierce became a fucking demon. I'm one of them few people that says like that bigs up Paul Pierce, because I like Paul Pierce game has always just been fun to watch for me, especially like when he was especially during the demon time of Paul Pierce. Like, bro, getting stabbed up in a nightclub and then playing all 82 games of the season and take your team all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals is, bro, give Paul Pierce his flowers, bro. Paul Pierce definitely deserves his flowers. He might say some outlandish shit, like just recently he said he a better scorer than Michael Jordan. Okay, so you wrote it. You was a demon, but you wasn't that demon. Okay, there's levels to this shit. Okay, you weren't on that level, but Paul Pierce was definitely a demon in his own right when he had it. But yeah. I hope that he brings up Paul Pierce in this as well, because Paul Pierce definitely had him a season as well.
This was deserving of league MVP honors. During this season, you also had a very compelling argument over who was the best shooting guard in the NBA. Most would say Kobe. who was cementing himself as the best player on the back-to-back champion LA Lakers. Shaq was injured during many parts of the regular season, and it was Kobe who carried the championship crew night in and night out on their quest for a three-peat. His combination of athleticism, fundamentals, and all-out will was firmly inserting him into the conversation for not just best shooting guard, but the league's best player. Another two-guard that was certainly worthy of a legitimate argument was Tracy McGrady. The 22-year-old guard actually averaged more points than Kobe in 2002, and he was doing this on a bad Orlando Magic team. Every night, defenses were closing in on McGrady with double and triple teams, and yet T-Mac was able to lift the Magic to a respectable 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. Another name that was thrown into the best two-guard conversation this year was Paul Pierce. He actually averaged more points than both Kobe and T-Mac and played all 82 games. The 4th-year guard out of Kansas was an absolute terror in the mid-range, showcasing incredible footwork and bullying smaller defenders in the post. And after a stellar 42-point performance against the Lakers one night in 2002, it was none other than Shaq who famously coined Pierce with one of the coldest nicknames for any NBA player, as from this point on, Paul Pierce will forever be known as the Truth. Individual talent aside though, basketball is still a team game. And as the 2000 playoffs approached, one thing was undeniable. The Sacramento Kings were looking like the best team in the NBA. Not only did they end the regular season with the league's best record, but their fast-paced style of play was unselfish, balanced, and truly dominant. Chris Webber led the charge.
I will say this, the Sacramento Kings was definitely ahead of their time. As like, they playing style, how they went about things, they were definitely ahead of their time. I think the only thing besides them getting robbed by this rigged ass series against the Lakers, besides that, I think that the only thing that was truly holding them back, I think they just needed a little bit more veteran depth on their team. They had a lot of youth on their team, which was not a bad thing, but a few more veterans on this team, I think they would have definitely been able to get past. I think they could have made a finals run. For sure. I think they definitely could have made a finals run. Is it 04? Is it 05? Is it 03? I think so. If they find some more veteran, if they put a little bit more veteran presence on their team, because their team was young, and sometimes they did make some questionable decisions. Like, you would look at them and be like, why would you do that? Like, the Sacramento Kings, they did make questionable decisions, but I think the first step in them moving Jason Williams out for Mike Bibby, I think that as much as it sucked to see Jason Williams get booted to Memphis or Vancouver, wherever the fuck the Grizzlies were at that time, as much as it sucked to see him get booted out of such an amazing team, it made a lot of sense. You needed a point guard that had a higher IQ, but you also needed a bench that had a little bit of a higher IQ as well. Because, like I said, the bench did questionable things at times. But I feel like this team definitely could have went. This team definitely could have had a finals run for sure.
As their undisputed leader. Undoubtedly one of the best power forwards in the league, his strengths was in his versatility, a phenomenal playmaker as well as a true force down low. You also had Peja Stojakovic, one of the most underrated players of this decade. Probably the best pure shooter in the league at the time, Stojakovic was critical to what the Kings did offensively.
They was ahead of their time. It was Golden State Warriors for Golden State,
the team's point guard and the man who they gave the ball to in any and all clutch situations. He truly had ice in his veins. Rounding out the crew was veteran Vlade Divac, elite perimeter defender Doug Christie, instant offense off the bench Bobby Jackson, and a young but fearless Hedo Turkoglu. This team was deep, and they had their eyes set on shocking the world with an NBA championship. And as fate would have it, the Lakers and Kings did meet in the Western Conference Finals. After being eliminated by the Lakers in their last 2 playoff runs, the Kings believed their time was now. And after the first 3 games, they found themselves up 2-1. And as Game 4 got underway in LA, the Kings saw themselves up by 20 points. And the Lakers' dreams of a three-peat seemed all but over. However, the Lakers, like they have done countless times before, rallied. The poise and determination of the back-to-back champs cut a once 20-point lead down to 2 with 10 seconds left in regulation, and that's when the unthinkable happened.
Down to 7 seconds. Wyatt putting a move on Christie. Rebound O'Neal. Coming up short. Ori for the win.
That was a crazy shot, though. That was a crazy sequence.
That was absolute insanity.
Real talk, though, that was Vlade Divac's fault. Vlade Divac, that's what I mean by they make questionable decisions. Even though Vlade Divac was a veteran, he needed a little. Vlade Divac that was a dumb decision. Why the fuck would you tip the ball back out? Like, even Kobe questioned that shit. Like, why did he tip the ball back out? Like, that didn't make no sense, bro. If Vlade Divac doesn't make that stupid ass play, the Sacramento Kings probably make a finals run.
The greatest single shot in Los Angeles Lakers history. After this heartbreaking shot, Sacramento showed resilience, winning the next game in another nail-biter, but the Lakers won both games 6 and 7 to escape the Kings and keep their dreams of a three-peat alive. This series is not only a historic one, but it's also a very controversial one. Years later, it was confirmed that disgraced referee Tim Donaghy was betting on these games to ensure a Lakers victory, which explains things like the wide free throw margins favoring the Lakers in this series, in particular Game 6. It's a black eye on the league that the NBA tries to forget every year, but Sacramento fans do not and should not let it go. And Lakers fans, although they acknowledge the scandal, are still very confident that if the games were refereed appropriately and fairly, the results would not have changed because of the dominance of both Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Would the Lakers still have defeated the Kings without this scandal? Let me know what you think in the comments below. The Western Conference was basically the championship round. The Lakers did go on to face the Nets in the finals, but that was an easy sweep for the Lakers, who secured the highly coveted three-peat. Shaq was named Finals MVP for the third straight year after completely demolishing a New Jersey frontline that had no business being in the NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant was just as brilliant in the finals as he had been all playoffs long, and the supporting crew of Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, and Robert Horry did all the little things to get the job done. With the three-peat secured, the 2000s Lakers elevated themselves in NBA history as one of only 3 teams to ever three-peat, making them one of, if not the greatest team in NBA history. Shaq and Kobe as a duo go down as the most dynamic the league has ever seen, competing with the likes of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen from the Bulls, Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from the 80s Lakers. And when we talk about sheer dominance of an era, these Lakers are up there. And the only question that remained was, who would ever...
Alrighty, man. That's just gonna about do it for this one. Most definitely, man. Most definitely. 2002 was a alright year. Like I said, it's an alright year. Wasn't like that memorable. Like, Jordan went down with an injury midway through. I think Jordan tore his meniscus or ACL midway through the season, so that shit fucked the whole season up because everybody was kind of hyped for Jordan. Then he tore his ACL, and then everybody's like, "Well, he too old, man. He need to retire. What'd he come back for?" Oh man, it is what it is. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, bye.